On January 3rd, 2026, precisely at 2:01 a.m., U.S. choppers landed in Caracas. Half an hour passed and Nicolas Maduro was detained. Overnight, $17.3 trillion in oil reserves switched control. But this went beyond Venezuela alone. It marked the latest unavoidable move in a cycle that's shattered empires for more than 2,000 years. A cycle so reliable, so locked in by numbers that once you grasp it, it jumps out at you everywhere. Right this moment, America's federal debt hits $38.5 trillion, swelling by $6.12 billion every single day, without pause. Annual interest costs have just broken the $1 trillion barrier for the first time ever, and 142,000 millionaires are ditching old financial hubs this year, the biggest self-driven wealth exodus on record. None of this is random. It's phase 4 in a 7-phase loop that's felled the Dutch guilder, the British pound, and the Roman denarius in the past. The Venezuela operation isn't the start. It's a sign of an empire in its growth spike, scrambling for resources to prop up a facade of strength. What's ahead is etched in the past. The real issue? Will you land on the winning end of history's largest wealth shift? Stick around, because by the time this ends, you'll know our exact spot in the cycle and what follows without fail. Let me reveal something that sticks with you forever once spotted. Over the past 2,000 years, great powers climb and crash along the same exact path, the same steps, the same results. Whether it's Rome in 265 AD, the Dutch in 1780, Britain in 1931, or the US in 2026, the blueprint never wavers, and it's happening live. Here's the breakdown. Phase 1, solid money base. All empires launch with reliable currency tied to real worth, backed by gold, silver, or concrete assets. This pulls in trade. Commerce surges through the realm. Riches build up, output ramps, learning spreads, breakthroughs multiply. Society grows wealthy from true effort, not clever money tricks. This is the peak era when foundations are built on substance. Phase 2, growth and public initiatives. With riches flowing, the empire stretches out, not only in conquests, but in societal lifts, major builds, community aids, welfare setups. At first, these draw from the gains of Phase 1, highways, water networks, health systems, schools. Life feels abundant, the working class expands, standards rise everywhere, yet a quiet change creeps in. The focus tips towards sustaining wealth over generating it. Outlays start edging past creation, subtle and slow. Phase 3, overreach in defense and currency weakening. To hold global sway, the empire pumps up its forces, safeguarding paths, overseas outposts, ally protections, endless skirmishes, all eat up fortunes. Expenses outrun inflows. Levies go up, but fall short. So comes the critical error. Rather than trim costs or skip duties, they dilute the money supply. Romans clipped coin edges. Today, it's endless printing. Same result, extra cash chasing limited goods. Price creeps begin. It appears effective short term. The bills get covered, wheels keep turning. But faith phrase. Overseas holders spot it and start shifting holdings low-key at first. Phase 4, frantic asset grabs. Now the pace quickens. The empire senses its money's grip slipping, so it chases real value. Raw materials, key supplies, anything solid. Operations turn into extraction plays, overthrows mask as resource heists. They frame it as safety, freedom fights, or anti-crime pushes. But deep down, it's about shoring up a fading setup with tangible backups. This is our current spot. Venezuela's got 303 billion barrels of oil, valued at $17.3 trillion at $57 a pop. On January 3rd, 2026, America seized them via a swift strike that nabbed their leader. No fluke. This is pure Phase 4 tactics, straight from the Empire playbook. What turns this cycle so brutal? Phase 4 doesn't fix the core. It's a quick fix for a deep flaw. The root, spending beyond true output, stays untouched. It just delays the inevitable, often 5 to 15 years, maybe less. While chasing outside prizes, home issues snowball. Phase 5, faith erosion. Here's when everyday folks catch on. Price hikes hit hard, not in headlines, but at the market. Savings shrink in real terms. Paychecks lag behind bills. Gaps between haves and have-nots explode. Asset owners thrive, cash holders fade. Unity cracks. Radical views spike, fingers point. Divisions deepen. Abroad, nations quietly pivot from the empire's notes. They switch trade deals to other units, stockpile gold, cut direct ties. The once mighty reserve roll starts fracturing. Phase 6, debt overload. This is the disaster zone. Borrowings balloon so huge that interest eats revenue chunks. The main bank hits a wall. Hike rates to curb rises, and debt turns toxic. Hold them down and money's value tanks. That's debt dominance. Loans so massive they hijack policy. Ex-Fed boss Janet Yellen flagged it on January 5th, 2026. Fiscal dominance signs are ramping up strong. In plain terms, Phase 6 is kicking in. Phase 7, breakdown and overhaul. The endgame, wild inflation or outright failure. Money turns to dust, systems reboot, fortunes in the old currency vanish, lifelong nests eggs gone in weeks. But holdings in real stuff, gold, land, essentials, soar against the crash. This is the massive wealth handover from system believers to pattern spotters. Every era without fail. Now, let's back this with 3 rock-solid past cases. The Roman Empire, eternal Rome, ruler of the Mediterranean for almost 500 years. At height, it laid 50,000 miles of paths, engineered lasting waterworks, shaped laws we echo today. Trade poured in wealth. Of the denarius, their silver piece ruled as the era's top currency, but cost mounted. In 64 AD, under Nero, it was 94% silver, true value. Yet empire upkeep drained, wars, border threats, vast spans. Debasement began, trimming silver bit by bit. By 100 AD, 85%. By 200 AD, 50%. By 265 AD, just 0.5%. Prices blasted up 1,000% empire-wide. Troops pushed for raises as coins lost worth. Emperor Caracalla bumped army pay 50% around 210 AD to keep them. Overhead ballooned, no more easy spoils from foes. So they hiked citizen burdens, rampant inflation, crushing levies, junk money. This combo killed trade. Economy tanked. Wealth shifted. Land and gold holders endured. Denarius clingers got ruined. By 476 AD, Western Rome vanished. The Dutch Empire, jumping to the 1600s golden age. The guilder emerged as the first true global reserve. Amsterdam channeled world trade. Their East India outfit was history's richest firm at $7.9 trillion today's value. Spices, ships, finance tricks. They birthed stock exchanges. But empire costs piled. Colonies, fleets, root guards. By 1700s, stretched thin, debts mounted. Internal clashes flared, regions, classes, leaders, forces weakened. Then the 1780 Anglo-Dutch War hit. Britain, ascending hammered Dutch ships and chokes. France jumped in. War ended 1784. Britain dominated. It broke the Dutch financially. Debts unserviceable, markets plunged. The guilder lost its crown. Wealth flowed to British hands from fading power to rising one. Cycle spot on. The British Empire, where the sun always shone, claiming 25% of Earth at peak. The pound sterling held reserve sway for 200 plus years. London ruled finance, ships owned seas. But by 1900, upkeep outpaced gains. Wealth divides grew, borrowing surged. Rivals like Germany, Japan, America strengthened. World War I wrecked finances. U.S. loans funded it. By 1918, Britain owed big, first in ages. They clung to pound value, twisted rules. But 1931 forced gold standard drop. Pound devalued. World War II drained more. 1944, Bretton Woods sealed it. Dollar, with 2/3 world gold, took over. Britain resisted via colonies. India, Australia held pounds for loyalty, not smarts. 1967 saw another 14% overnight drop. Full dethroning took 20 plus years, grinding and harsh. Pound asset holders saw wealth melt. Dollar and hard stuff diversifiers held steady. Handover done. 3 powers, heirs apart, tech varied, foes different. Same path, phases, end. Now map it to now. U.S., Venezuela grab, current scene. Step by step, data only. U.S. set this in 1944. Bretton Woods, dollar gold tied at 35 ounce, others pegged. America had 2/3 global gold. Real base for dominance. Post-war, built huge welfare net. Social Security, Medicare, roads, schools, funded by real booms, factories, inventions, surpluses. Middle class soared, lives upgraded, growth phase as expected. Cracks in phase 3. Vietnam, Cold War, 80 plus country bases. Late 60s, nations swapped dollars for gold, spotting strain. August 15th, 1971, Nixon cut gold link, fiat pure, faith-based, modern dilution, followed by 70s double-digit inflation, dollar halved in buying power. Survival via petrodollar, 1974. Saudi pact, oil and dollars for U.S. shields. Forced global dollar demand. Stretched phase 350 years, but pattern persisted. Petrodollar as stopgap. Enter phase 4, Iraq 2003. Oil, Libya 2011. Oil gold. Syria positioning. Now Venezuela's 303 billion barrels, 17.3 trillion worth. January 3rd's Operation Absolute Resolve nabbed Maduro, seized control. Trump said, U.S. firms will pour billions, repair profit, code for oil takeover. But it's fleeting. Venezuela's setup needs $180 billion over 15 years for peak. It was 1% global supply. Doesn't fix U.S. math. Phase 4 confirmed. Military asset hunts. Phase 5 underway. 2025 saw 142,000 millionaires bolt, record high. 2026 forecast 165,000. UK is losing $566 billion wealth. China, India too. Heading to UAE, Singapore, tax-free, stable spots. Capital fleeing. Dollars reserve share, 71% in 2000 to 59% in 2023. China-Russia, trade in yuan, rubles. BRICS eyeing alternatives. Confidence wobbling, not broken yet. Phase 6 looming. Debt at 38.5 trillion. 6.12 B day, 255 an hour, forward 20 minute, 70 142nd. 2026 interest, 1T, triple 2020. By 2035, 1.8 T year. CBO, debt to 156% GDP by 2055. Worst scenarios, 220%. Yellen, January 5th. Fiscal dominance building. Investors doubt surpluses. Rates spike on 38.5 T. Disaster. Fed stuck. Hike in debt kills. Low in inflation rages. Dominance phase. Not at 7 yet, but trajectory says 5 into 25 years. Some peg 2050 break. Others sooner via confidence snap, reserve loss, auction flop, debt mess. And inflation blast or default. Wealth shifts hard. I'm not forecasting. I'm highlighting a 2,000-year repeat across empires. Rome, Dutch, British, same 7 phases. US in 4, edging 5, 6 emerging. Data, not views. Pushbacks. This era is unique. Tech saves. Romans had cutting-edge builds. Brits had industry boom. Tech ignores spend revenue gap. 6 to 7% GDP deficits yearly. Needs impossible. 5 to 6% growth forever. Reserve perks protect. Pound lasted 200 years, then crashed harder. Print, endless. That's hyperinflation, not fix. See Weimar, Zimbabwe, Venezuela. Transfers wealth, doesn't make it. Pattern unbreakable. If it holds, and it does, wealth shift in 10, 25 years. Spotters prepare, others lose. History favors tangibles. Gold, silver, farmland, resources. Rome survivors held land. Dutch kept gold. Brits diversified to dollars. Skills endure. Health, builds, farming, essential always. Like Argentina crises, pros adapted, fixed income folks sank. Millionaires moving. They foresee controls, taxes, optionality key, dual homes, offshore setups. Not disloyal, rational. Hedge with multi-currencies. UN, franc, gold ties. Reduces risk. Biggest error, inaction. Hear it, get it, then ignore. Not my time. Fix is coming. History laughs. Romans denied fall. Brits clung to pound. Math overrides wishes. Venezuela's January 3rd isn't the trigger. It's a phase 4 clue. Empires grab oil, gold in desperation, posing as power. Needing force for 17.3 T reserves screams instability. Late cycle signs. Timeline, guess from past. 2-5 years. More migrations, inflation, volatility, tensions. 5 to 10. Dollar erosion. Controls. Debt crunch. 10-25. Reset via inflation and default. System overhaul. Not prediction. Pattern echo. Could speed or drag, but path set. Your steps? Learn history. Track signs. Spread assets. No all in on one spot. Build timeless skills. Form groups. Teams weather storms. Allocate to reels wisely. Stay alert. More grabs. Price jumps. Restrictions ahead. Cycle markers. We're in history's epic wealth flip. Most missed till late. Trusting systems. Exceptionalism. History demands pain first. Choose. Grasp and prep or deny. Pattern rules. Shift nears. Pick your side. If this hit home, subscribe. Bell on. Stories unfolding. Next, key signs for phase 5-6 shift, plus top 3 assets that crushed every empire fall. Windows narrowing. Patterns ironclad. Transfers here. Clock's running.